Earlier this summer, there was leaked data from Disney that got out onto the web, somewhere around a terabyte of information. And we were curious at that time what sort of things were leaked out and really hadn't heard much else about it because I'm not going to go digging through that because I'm pretty sure that is illegal. But the good thing is, the Wall Street Journal apparently talked to some people. I don't know if they dug through this themselves, but they did dig through and see some of the things that were leaked out. And they have an article here talking about it. So I figured this would be a good article to read through and give some thoughts on. So, hi, I'm Jared from Capture the Magic. And again, the Wall Street Journal here has an article and it says leaked Disney data reveals financial and strategy secrets. Data trove sheds light on operations, exposes personal data of some staff and customers. It says the trove of data from Disney that was leaked online by hackers earlier this summer includes a range of financial and strategy information that sheds light on the entertainment giant's operations, according to files viewed by the Wall Street Journal. It also includes personally identifiable information of some staff and customers. The leaked files include granular details about revenue generated by such products as Disney Plus and ESPN Plus, park pricing offers the company has modeled, and what appear to be login credentials for some of Disney's cloud infrastructure. Although they do point out the journal didn't attempt to access any Disney systems because that I'm fairly certain would be very illegal. They say, quote, we decline to comment on unverified information the Wall Street Journal has purportedly obtained as a result of bad actors' illegal activity, a Disney spokesperson said. Disney told investors in an August regulatory filing that it is investigating the unauthorized release of over a terabyte of data from one of its communication systems. It said the incident hadn't made a material impact on its operations or financial performance and doesn't expect that it will. Although I'm sure that Disney's competitors will be going through that data quite a bit, if I were to guess. Data that a hacking entity calling itself Nobulge released online spans more than 44 million messages from Disney's Slack workplace communications tool, upward of 18,800 spreadsheets, and at least 13,000 PDFs, the journal found. The scope of the material taken appears to be limited to public and private channels within Disney's Slack that one employee had access to. No private messages between executives appear to be included. Slack is only one online forum in which Disney employees communicate at work. The exposed financial information was in documents shared by staffers that detail company operations. It isn't official data of the sort Disney discloses to Wall Street. It might not reflect final financial performance for a given period. And they saw about Genie Plus and Disney Plus. A spreadsheet exposed in the leak appears to detail revenue generated from Genie Plus. The premium park pass launched in 2021. The pass is a signature achievement of Disney's theme park division chief. Depends on your definition of signature, but okay. And the data underscores how vital Genie Plus has become to the financial performance of that unit. The file indicates that the passes generated more than $724 million in pre-tax revenue between October 21st and June 2024 at Walt Disney World alone.
Whoa, this is getting kind of pricey.
Almost $1 billion. If you wonder why Fast Pass Plus is never coming back, that right there is the reason, as they've almost made $1 billion in not quite a 3-year period, but close to it. The leaked documents also provide fresh insight into Disney's streaming revenue. The company doesn't disclose revenue for individual streaming services within its direct-to-consumer business, which includes Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. Some investors have hungered for more granular data. Yeah, and that's part of the problem is Disney Plus was on this timetable to be profitable by, I believe it was this year. Well, Disney Plus on its own was not going to get there. This is one reason why they bought Hulu. And I figure what they would do and what they are doing is mixing all those numbers in to try and come up with this whole like Disney Plus is super successful, but not breaking down which, basically categories are the most successful, make the most money. They're not going to release that because they just want it to be viewed as a whole, basically. Internal spreadsheets suggest that Disney Plus generated more than $2.4 billion in revenue in the March quarter. That amounts to about 43% of revenue the company reports for its direct-to-consumer entertainment business, which also includes Hulu. It underscores how significant a revenue contributor Hulu is, particularly as Disney seeks to buy out Comcast's stake in the streaming service and as the two sides spar over its value. I have to imagine this information coming out about how much they generated in revenue is going to help Comcast's argument, because what's going on right now is, so when originally Hulu was between 20th Century Fox and Comcast, it was Comcast owned a third and then 20th Century Fox owned the other 2/3. And then when Disney bought 20th Century Fox, obviously they got the 2/3, Comcast at the other third. Well, the agreement being that Comcast would sell its other share to Disney for a sum of money. So Disney is trying to say it's worth, I think they said like $8 or $9 billion, but Comcast is arguing that its value is much higher than it was originally looked at, because I think it was originally valued in like 2015, 2016, somewhere around there, maybe later, but it has been evaluated in a bit. So they're arguing it's worth more. So if they're looking at these numbers from Disney, then they can sit there and say, hey, you generated in one quarter 2.4 billion in revenue, and a lot of that is due to Hulu. So they probably have a pretty good argument. It's in arbitration right now, but I have a feeling Disney's going to be paying much closer to 20 billion, if not more, maybe a little less, depends on how they rule it, but they're not going to be paying the 8 or 9 billion that they originally said they were going to pay. And they go on to talk about some crew and like some customer data that was breached. But basically the whole thing is interesting in terms of looking at Disney Plus and looking especially Genie Plus there about making almost $1 billion in a 3-year span. Yet again, I have advocated for a long time that Disney needs to bring back FastPass Plus, because I think it makes a lot of people happy, along with the Magical Express. And while they have shown almost $1 billion in pre-tax revenue since they introduced it, though my argument would be people spend basically what they plan on spending on a vacation regardless. So if they're accounting for Genie Plus and now Lightning Lane for, they're going to spend on this trip, they're not going to just spend extra money necessarily. They're going to cut back in other places, probably being food and, other things that they might do. Maybe it's a different type of hotel, stuff like that. So I feel like if you just still had FastPass Plus, people would spend more money buying merchandise, food, other items, maybe hotel rooms and things like that. So I kind of feel like at the end of the day, people spend about what they're going to spend on this stuff, and them charging for Genie Plus just takes away from other areas that where people would spend in the parks. But they're able to monetize attractions now, which is something that they really want to do, so they can put a dollar amount to rides internally, which again is something they really do want to do. And when it comes to the Disney Plus side, I mean, they're vague in their numbers in terms of like which one does better: Hulu, ESPN Plus, Disney Plus, things like that. Hulu was a successful streamer before Disney, is undergoing purchasing it. So I have a feeling that Hulu is definitely helping out Disney Plus quite a bit. And when they're talking 2 billion in revenue, for the quarter, I mean, that is a lot of money, although I'm curious about the cost. And they just came up with a writer's strike. So they haven't had a lot of content be put on Disney Plus. Iger has talked about pulling back the amount of content on Disney Plus because they just had too much of it that wasn't very good. I still have a lot of questions in terms of the viability of Disney Plus, given that I don't think the content wise they're there where say like a Netflix is, and the generalized content they have. Obviously they have Disney stuff, which you can make an argument that Disney Plus hurts their movies. Now they had a good movie summer this past summer with Deadpool, Wolverine, and Inside Out 2, but a lot of times Disney themselves have come out and said, well, our movies didn't do as good at the box office because people are changing habits and they're waiting for it to come to Disney Plus. Well, that's still a problem of your own making here. So I guess on some end, if Disney Plus is making, the extra money, how much money are they costing themselves on the movie side is a question. Now, I don't know if they have that data, but that's an interesting way to kind of look at that. But I would be very curious to see that breakdown of Disney Plus versus Hulu internally, just how much is Hulu helping those numbers out. But given from this data, I mean, obviously it breaks down a little bit more information about how, Disney's internal financials look. Obviously, this is not information that I'm going to go looking for myself, nor would I advise anybody to do that. It is out there on the internet. But yet again, Wall Street Journal, says they didn't access systems they weren't supposed to access, because that for sure would be illegal. But I think the thing that's the most interesting point I would point out is just the Genie Plus numbers. We knew they were making a lot of money off of those. Basically, the parks are the biggest money maker for the company, and so Genie Plus, making more money is only helping in that. Which, again, this is why they're never going to let go of that, is because of that revenue stream that they're showing right there. But when they talk about Genie Plus, a lot of people look at that as profit. Well, it was pre-tax, and there is cost when it comes to Genie Plus. You have people that have to work on those systems. You have servers. Like there is cost and labor that goes into Genie Plus more than it does in other areas. Like a lot of people have argued, even if it was a breakdown of like, well, they're spending about the same amount of money in the parks, whether or not it was on Genie Plus or if that was on food. And people say, well, food and other things like that have more cost involved. They may have more, but it's not like Genie Plus or Lightning Lane is just nothing. Like it does cost a lot of money to have the server uptime, to code it, to all these things to upkeep it. So it's not like that's pure profit. And again, I would also argue at the end of the day, people how they feel about their vacation is something that really you can't put a price tag on, and it's something I think Disney's lost touch of. And again, I think FastPass Plus and like Magical Express went a long ways in helping people feel like they were getting a lot more value out of their trips versus like Genie Plus and Lightning Lane, where they feel like they're being nickel and dime, like microtransactions while they're on their vacation. Obviously, but again, Disney has been going from the spreadsheet management perspective of the company, I think, for a bit now, and they're just going to look at that revenue stream, and again, that's what they're going to tout. They're not going to get rid of that, because if they got rid of a almost $1 billion revenue stream the past few years, Wall Street's not going to like it. The stock's going to continue to take a hit. And so I don't see them reversing course on that anytime soon. Interesting numbers nonetheless, but I thought that was a good article to look at and see what the Wall Street Journal found. But that is going to do it for this video. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel, as we do lots of coverage here of Disney World, Universal Studios, Epic Universe, and pop culture. And let us know in the comments, do the numbers for Genie Plus, Lightning Lane surprise you? And do you think it would be about even in the parks if they didn't have those services where people would just spend more money elsewhere in the parks? And until next time, we will see you in the parks.